Last week I talked about some fun Silver Age short DC runs that emerged from Showcase that I enjoy collecting. This week I'm going to give Marvel the same treatment, and I want to talk a little bit about a number of short Marvel runs from the 1970s, from the Bronze Age, that are relatively easy to collect and won't cost you a whole lot of money. Hello, folks. It's Kevin from Doc's Comics again. Welcome to the show. I enjoy collecting runs. I'm a completist. And of course, there's a lot of titles out there that are gigantic 300, 400, 500 issues. But there are a number of them that are much smaller, that are much less expensive, and that are just as satisfying to finish. And let's face it, if you are a completist, finishing a run, whether it's a big one or a small one, gives you a lot of personal satisfaction. So today I'm going to share with you a number of small runs, usually 10 issues or less, from the Bronze Age from Marvel that are fairly easy to collect and aren't going to cost you a whole lot of money. So let's get right into these, and we'll start with the first one. The first series that I want to start with is Gunhawks. Of course, a Marvel Bronze Age Western near and dear to my heart. And in fact, Gunhawks is a rare non-reprint Western from this era. Most of them were reprints of previous stuff from the Atomic Age and from the Silver Age. But Gunhawks ran 7 issues from October 1972 until October 1973. Gunhawks tells the story of Reno Jones and Kid Cassidy shortly after the end of the Civil War, and it's written by Gary Friedrich with art predominantly by Sid Shores, but also a couple of issues were done by Dick Ayers. Uh, Issue 7 is the title of it changes just a little bit. It's called Reno Jones Gunhawk for reasons that I won't spoil for you. I'll let you read it. And that issue is actually written by Gardner Fox. But a fun fact about Gunhawks, and particularly issue number 7, is that Reno Jones becomes the second African American character to have a book in his own title, a self-titled series, following Hero for Hire Luke Cage, which came a few months earlier than that. Some of you might wonder about Black Panther, but Black Panther was in Jungle Action at the time, and so the title of that book actually did not have the name Black Panther in it. He would have to wait until later in the Bronze Age to get his own self titled book. The second series on my list is Marvel Chillers, also a 7 issue series just like Gunhawks. This one ran from October of 1975 until October of 1976. The first couple of issues feature the first appearance of Mordred the Mystic with art by Gil Kane. And then starting with issue 3 until the final issue 7, it features Tigra or Tigra. I'm not sure how everyone pronounces it, but you know the character that I'm talking about. And there was a roving creative team on this series, changed a lot. We have the art of George Tuska, John Byrne, Jack Kirby does a cover, written by Chris Claremont, among a number of others. Howard Chaykin and Bernie Wrightson actually do the cover of number 3. And we also see a lot of interesting guest appearances in this book, including Red Wolf, Craven. We even see the appearance of the Super Scroll right at the end of the series. So another short, fun issue, short series for you to try to go out and find. Speaking of Red Wolf, I wanted to add him as the third short Bronze Age series that I think is worth picking up. Red Wolf by Marvel, of course. Red Wolf made his first appearance in Avengers number 80 and then was given the spotlight, if you'll pardon the pun, in the very first issue of Marvel Spotlight before being given his own series, which lasted nine issues from May of 1972 until September of 1973. Red Wolf is written predominantly by Gary Friedrich and Gardner Fox, similar to Gunhawks, with art by Sid Shores and Dick Ayers for the most part, and it tells the adventures of Red Wolf and his wolf Lobo. At the time, Marvel was trying to diversify its titles. They wanted to include people of color and women in more of its ongoing books. And Stan Lee really wanted to have a Native American hero, but at the same time, he didn't want to put a Native American hero into the present day. Fun fact about Red Wolf is that throughout his appearances, Red Wolf's alter ego is actually a number of different people, at the very least 3 from what I can gather. But nevertheless, it is another one of those Bronze Age Western titles that contains new stories, and so it's an enjoyable read. Next on the list is Marvel Feature Volume 2 featuring Red Sonja. Now, Red Sonja, of course, made her first appearance in Conan number 23 and Conan number 24. Then, after a couple of other appearances, moves on to her own title in Marvel Feature, which lasts 7 issues from November of 1975 until November of 1976. The title is written predominantly by Roy Thomas and Bruce Jones, where Dick Giordano did the art in issue number 1, and then, of course, Frank Thorne takes over after that. This series precedes Red Sonja's self-titled series that comes a little later in January of 1977 and lasts 15 issues. She, of course, makes a couple of other appearances in Conan, has a few miniseries of her own, and then is as popular as ever now in the books that are published by Dynamite, I believe. Issue 7 does have a cameo by Conan the Barbarian, and then that story continues in Conan number 68. Frank Thorne is a terrific artist, and if you've never experienced Frank Thorne, this is the series to give him a shot in. The last series that I'll do for this video is the Inhumans, and this is also the longest series that I'm going to cover today. It lasts a total of 12 issues from October of 1975 until August of 1977. Of course, the Inhumans make their first appearance in various ways in early Silver Age appearances of Fantastic Four. Then the Inhumans is in the first 8 issues of Amazing Adventures, of which Neil Adams did the art in quite a few of these, and then it moves on to its own 12-issue series here. The entire series is written by Doug Mensch and has a few artists in there. George Perez does issues 1 through 4 in addition to number 8. Gil Kane takes over and does 5 through 7. Number 9 is a reprint issue of those early Amazing Adventure stories, and then the last 3 issues, 10 through 12, are done by Keith Pollard. Again, it's a self-contained story. It only takes 12 issues. You can get through it pretty quick, and these issues in Inhumans are pretty inexpensive to get, so it's a nice one to try to complete, and you shouldn't be able to do it with much problem. I hope you're enjoying me going through some of these short runs that I like to collect both in DC and Marvel. There's plenty of other short runs that I can be able to talk about in future videos. So please, if you continue to enjoy things, leave a like, leave a follow, leave me a comment. Let me know that I'm doing a decent job, or if I'm not, let me know what I can do to make the video better. Until then, we'll see y'all next video.